One, two, three, in the place to be. It's your player partners from the bottom of the map.
From the bottom of the map,
It's your dog Israel.
Ike Hayes.
And before we jump in, before you tap all the way in, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, throw your 2 cents in, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell your auntie now. Um, well, this is the aftermath of National Signing Day. Miami ended up with a number three. Let's get that right. Number three ranked recruiting class. So big ups to Mario on that. But there's a caveat to all of this. So go ahead and I know you got a lot to get off your chest.
All I'm saying is, look, I think at the end of the day, it's the day after. So yeah, we got to be ecstatic. That is loose. Like ain't nobody hating, ain't nobody hating. But it's almost like you had a good night. You know what that morning after be like, right? Like the morning after, it's like you still basking in that glow, but you already know you got to get to work. Like we live in a different era too. We living in the transfer portal era. So basically, what I'm saying is, I love the fans, but y'all know we done fucked up, right? You know you done fucked up, right? Yeah, we done got top tree class. You can't go 7-5. You can't go 8-4. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even think you can go 9-3. I know people say championship or bust. I'm gonna say 10-2 or bust. And I don't even see there's only one team on the schedule. I don't know if the UN fans looking at that schedule, but I'm looking like, look, boy, we can have one loss. You feel me? One loss. You know
Oh,
what I'm
let me
saying?
bring up their schedule real quick. So this is
Yeah,
their
go ahead,
schedule for next
bring it
year.
up. Go ahead and bring it up now.
This
But
is
you
the,
know what I'm saying? First
this
half of our schedule now, we did go, we were undefeated. You feel me? And we should have beat Georgia Tech. We ain't even much gonna talk about that, right? But I'm like, okay. But I'm just like, look, we ain't really look good in some of them wins against them cupcakes. We ain't look good. And that was with the top five teams. So now you know what I'm saying? We got great recruits, and that's what our recruiter does. But I'm telling you, 10-3 or bust. And really it need to be some 11-2, 10-1. Like it need to be, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Like that's the type of schedule to where you got to play for the ACC title, right? You don't play for the ACC title, then it's bad. And I'm like, outside of anybody but Florida State, you got to win that. And honestly, you're beating them out for talent. So it's just more like, look, you gotta win the ACC. That's the roster. You got the number three, you know what I'm saying, period. And so I don't know. I know right now, we always talk about it, but he got to get a quarterback. People keep talking about developing, and I be shaking my head because I'm like, that ain't type of coach we got, boy. That ain't what type of coach you got. What the homeboy say who be scamming? Boy, that ain't what type of coach you got. He ain't developing no talent. He got so much talent. He just winning. It's just a disparity on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do feel like he needs the quarterback. I feel like if he gets the quarterback, but he don't get that quarterback, and we got to develop somebody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I feel like now we really at the casino, and you ain't get talent guaranteed 5 stars, 4 stars, top kids to be like, well, let me see what's gonna happen. No, the pressure is on. He got to get them boys, or else you go 8-4, 7-5. I even think 9-3. They hitting that portal next year. They hitting that portal. You feel me? So, and we ain't gonna. I know. Let's just know, like you can't be no ignorant fan. We a big player in NIL. So if you want to see return on this investment, because I ain't no mathematician, but I know if you pay out and we ain't getting, you feel me? We need the attendance money, you feel me? Which they already be talking shit. Okay. Every other fan base where they be talking shit, that's the first thing they go to. Look at your fucking stadium. There ain't nobody fucking showing up. I'm talking about they to go to fucking. I really don't have no answer for that. At the same time, we from Miami, so we know it's a hard time anyway. But we still know that that's cap. But on some revenue shit, obviously it's always good when you can pack out the stadium. But I'm just like, look, man, just win like you fucking supposed to, and that should have handled that. Because if anything, them season tickets, you feel me? Them season tickets to UM, I know them shit's pretty cheap. And I'm like, look, man, if I get you feel me? If I feel like we're gonna go on a run, I ain't got no problem. You know what I'm saying? But that being stated, yeah, man, I just think it's heavy pressure now. He got it. You done paid all that. You got to get Cam Ward. You got to. You got to go all in.
Man,
You got to know.
I think that's you don't gotta get Cam Ward. You don't gotta get a Cam Ward. Cam Ward doesn't automatically give you like a national championship or ACC championship or whatever. I do think you gotta have good serviceable quarterback play. It can't be bad quarterback play. You need like B minus quarterback play, because then like you don't expect, because we don't have the plug and play quarterback that's going to come in right away and just take over the team. So if you have to go with Emory Williams or Ja'Cory Brown, like if they give you B minus play, you got enough talent around them on both sides of the ball and special teams that like you should be able to win these games. And just let me just run off the schedule, because our schedule is actually pretty favorable
Emphasis
next
on
year.
should be though, because I'm like,
We got Florida. Game one is Florida. That's going to be a big game. FAMU, Ball State, USF, Cal, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Duke, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Wake, and Syracuse. So I'm looking at 1, 2 losses at the most. Look like we can run the table on this. If we end up with 4 losses, man, I don't know.
I think 3 losses. And I'm like, bro, you watched a man that didn't want to kneel, who caught a loss, bro, who could be 8-4, but caught a loss because he didn't want to do victory formation. You talking about somebody, at the end of the man, fuck it, bro. Like I hate, like I love my team, but I'm gonna hold them to that standard, bro. I'm not gonna be out here like looking at the crazy shit and I'm like, look, man, you know what other coaches are saying, bro. You got out coached at Louisville. Louisville couldn't score against Florida State. They put up 38 on us, and our offense stalled. You talking about you need somebody serviceable? Florida's quarterback Graham Mertz was actually serviceable the whole season and got better. But they went 5-7, and that boy on the hot seat. And you don't think we was using that against them? I don't think it's something to me. It's like asking, well, did you need Armando Blount on the line? What you getting the line for if you ain't finna be dominating people on it, or you ain't finna be giving your quarterback time to throw, or you ain't finna be getting timely third downs? What the fuck we talking about? And he flipped back and forth. So let's not act like money it wasn't just talking and they just had to think about it more. No. Deals was being cut, okay? Them boys cutting deals out here. So I'm like, nah, bro, you paid out a lot of bread. So even on a financial tip, I know that NIL was busy trying to close, trying to come up with offers and doing whatever they had to do. So yeah, I think should, if, probably, and maybe gonna get you 8-4 and fucking around with Mario. Cause I still got the same, and people be like, you're a hater. Here's my thing, right? And no one gonna know this answer off rip. They're gonna have to go Google it, then hit me in the comments. Bro, what's the precedence for the O-line coach? That being his specialty, him being, a championship caliber coach. You know what I'm saying? Because people always, even now when I look at them, the recruiting's getting there, and they act like that's what Howard Schellenberger was. I'm like, no, bro, this man was an offensive coordinator. The fuck are you talking about? The fuck is you talking about? Him recruiting elite was a byproduct. He was an excellent offensive coordinator. Obviously, NFL pedigree, championship with Shula. Dennis Erickson, same thing. Jimmy was the defensive coordinator, but I just feel like even at the helm of the DNA we're talking about. So do I believe that my O-line coach, who has never done it anywhere else, can develop this talent? No, out-talent people. So you talking about serviceable, you basically saying we're going to put a Honda in a Lamborghini engine and we should still, yes, we should, but should in Mario? Nah, bro. I feel like that's a very dangerous, okay? Those are dangerous words. Those are very dangerous words. Like you asking for disappointment. Let this man get everything he needs. If he want to spend, yes, you get Will Howard. I don't even know nothing about Will Howard, okay? Cam Ward, we know the story now. But at the end of the day, I'm like, even if you get somebody and you have to use all three, you can't come home with nothing. Oh, no. You done spent too much. You done did too much willing and dealing. Bro, you've been flipping people. This man was the flip master the last 3 weeks. I don't think you do all that to be like, well, I should be. No. If let's just say we get somebody and they get hurt. Let that be the conversation. Tell me a Florida State where, okay, you got a Will Howard and then he got outplayed later on. But you can't take another 3 games, bro. Transfer, no. You in too deep. You in too deep. You in too deep. It ain't even about the reality of the situation no more. You in too deep.
I do think the fan base. I don't know. I think the fan base could be on either side of this one. The fan base right now, I know, is definitely going to be like energized, because you do have that the top 3 ranked recruiting class. But I do think like because we're buying into the rebuild, right? We're buying into Mario giving us, and I think that's a way for him to buy himself time. Like we're buying into this, right? So we're gonna go along with the ride, the rebuild ride. I mean, we already proven like you don't have to do no 5 year rebuild, but all right, this is what he's selling us on. We're along the ride. At a certain point in time, we want to start seeing, results. We need to start seeing like these dividends pay off. Like
You need to see it now, this year.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, is the fan base going to be like, all right? So we went from 5-7 to 7-5, potentially 8-5, or 7-6, and is a 8-4 year like that's we built, we got better, and then a
Well,
9-3 year. You know what I'm saying? Like what? I guess at what point is the fan base and even the athletic department going to start saying like, hey, we can't just go from winning 7 games to 8 games one year, and we keep getting these top recruiting class. We keep getting these top players, and then when does Mario feel the pressure to start producing? Like right at that point, because I do think like when you get and I was telling you offline, like I'm a little scared of having this high class because the expectations may want to be like, hey, they should meet the talent that you have. So if you get this top ranked talent, and the expectation should be like you should have a top performing team, which should equate to wins. And it's not equating to wins. It's just like, where are we at? Are we like, what part of the rebuild is that? You got top ranked talent, and not, I guess maybe the last thing is like getting a quarterback, getting a top ranked quarterback. And then maybe that completes you out all the way. And you can say the rebuild is complete. Because the process has to complete sometime. We just can't keep saying we're in the rebuild, we're in the rebuild, we're in the rebuild.
those
When
are
is the rebuild done?
nah. I think and this is the thing about fan bases. Most of these people, including these podcasts, they casuals. And I say that because you can't have delusions of grandeur, right? But you also can't put nobody on a crazy ass hot seat, right? Like I guess we're looking like what is realistic expectations, right? And then they say you can't compare it. But Mario already has a track record. Like we keep talking about these great coaches, and I'm like, bro, Jimmy Johnson was a place before he came that he had success. Dennis Erickson was successful in his fucking, first year. And I get that those were different states, but once again, we have somebody who been an O-line coach who we seen what he did at Oregon. We also seen where Oregon is as well now as well. So I look at that shit like, look, man, the fan base and the athletic department is going to give him the full 5 years. They're going to give him the full 5 years. But I feel like if you're somebody that's in the know of football, once we saw this year, I think that already showed us like, look, we're not going to outcoach people. So they don't want to, like I told you, it's the philosophical question. If you are not improving as a head coach and you're not developing, well, then how are you going to develop players? And I understand that, right? Like most, what I'm saying? That's almost looking at it like he can't be successful. I'm like, no, you can, but you're just going to out talent people. So I just think at the end of the day, I think this year, if he gets the quarterback and the plug and play, if he has to develop the people, I definitely feel like that's 3 or 4 loss. But I feel like if you give him the quarterback, I can see him winning 2 games, and they're going to be a winnable 2 games, and we're still going to come back and be like, damn, he should have won that. I don't know why he couldn't have won that. And we're going to know the answer. He can't, somebody really outcoached him. Somebody just really, really outcoached him. Okay, cool. But at 10-2, the fan base will take it. Really, with the number 3 class and how you're like, you see what I'm saying? Like we have a higher ranked class than Florida State and snatched Armando Blount back, and they went undefeated. That he might be developing into a better recruiter, okay? Because that right there, I mean, come on. You went undefeated and you still got out recruited just on some real shit. That don't even make no sense. And I'm not hating. I'm just like, damn. If you went undefeated, we would probably be able to get the, you know what I'm saying? You know how we're selling it over here. That's why I'd be like, okay, our fan base is loose and things like this get them riled up. So I'm like, look, I think come the end of the season, if they have 3 losses, they'll take it. If they
I
have
got a
2,
question for you. All right, so let's say, all right, with number 3 recruited class, all the top players we got coming back, Maui Noga, both Maui Nogas, Ruben Bain, the receivers we got, tight ends, all the top quality players we got coming back with the number 3 recruiting class. Let's say we do get Cam Ward. What's the expectations then?
One loss in the ACC title game. But if I say that, then he'll have 2 losses and squeak into the college football playoff. If he does that in his first year,
you can't get in the college football playoff with 2 losses. That ain't happening. Not in the ACC. SEC team like an Ole Miss who finished, I think, like number 11 or 12, or a Missouri who finished like a number 9 or 10 could get in. A 2-loss ACC team, even a 12-team playoff, is not getting in. Ain't happening.
You never know. So let's just say he don't get in. If he do 2 losses, the fan base, other people will talk shit, but the fan base will take it. Like I said, 2 or 3 losses, they're gonna take it. Even if he get the quarterback, they're gonna take it. They're gonna come up with an excuse. But really, 1 loss. And I felt like you lose to Florida State, and then you turn around and play Florida State again in the ACC title game. And even if you lose again, I could take that. Who is that? That's Danny Lanning. You know what I'm saying? Lost 2 games, but 2 games, Washington. Lost during the season, lost during the title game. I think you get Cam Ward. You got all them holes that you done pick. You got the number 3 class. Bro, you can't win the ACC. I know we better not be talking about going nowhere. Yeah, but that's what he should do. That's what he should do. The acceptable thing is 10-2, 2 losses to Florida State, and maybe it's 11-3 because you win the bowl game. But the ideal scenario is you beat Florida State both times. You go in that bitch undefeated. Listen, he goes undefeated with this team. They're gonna put a statue up there for him. That's it. So they're gonna give him another 5-year extension. They're gonna early. He goes to the football playoffs and almost wins it. That's it, bro. We have coach. We got Utah. He's gonna have a job forever. Cause then he could and Mario. I think he was smart for this. He would do this with Oregon. Listen. He putting so much talent out there, bro. He gonna have 2-3 good seasons, and then he could do media corps. Then he could, or every year we could just be Georgia. Would you? Here's the better solution. We are Marks Rich Georgia. That's who we could be. That's the ceiling for us. And the only reason is because he gonna have so much talent, but he not gonna outcoach nobody. And I don't think he is. Maybe he finally gets the thing in there. But yes, we become like, what's the name? Ohio, the old Ohio, well, the current Ohio State. We just, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, we sneak in the playoffs. We just got so much talent though. We just keep selling people. And think about it. He always gonna have Miami. He always gonna have the beach. We big NIL players. And you looked at a little bit of the interview. Imagine that guy coming to your house. No, you want to believe. You want to believe. You fucking want to believe. And then you come into Miami. Come on, bro. Miami is just Miami, period. You feel me? Miami, period. It's the allure. You coming from wherever. So, I mean, look, bro. Nah. And I think realistically, I feel like like I said, 10-3 is horrible, but I think this man can really go 10-2. And I feel like I'm like you. At the end of the day, like, you always got to have that optimism. So it's like I want to look at reality, but I do get romanticized, and I'm like, fuck it, we 10-2. We 10-2 or 11-1, bro. We're not losing to nobody on that schedule. Except, you know what? The 10-2 is we gonna understand who he is week 1. You got to play the Gators. Billy Napier, I think Billy Napier might want it more. Mario got to win that game. Here's the thing. You got to beat Florida because you basically just told them recruits, bro, we just flip people from their class like, nah, they're not. And whose seat is hotter? That's why he got to get the quarterback.
Well, Napier's seat is hot. Mario ain't on no hot seat.
It ain't hot at all. I don't even think it's warm. Like, they won't let it. No one else will. Me and you say it should be warm, but I feel like it should be warm, and maybe that's why we lose that game. Who got the hottest seat? And they're coming back with Merce, so he's like you said, and they've been slowly developing him. They got a couple. No, this is Florida. They're gonna have talent, bro. Them boys is from different parts of the state. They're gonna play us tough, bro. It's a rivalry game. That's a rivalry game out. And for me, that Mario do not be having them boys ready to play after what you mean.
I mean, first game of the season against Texas A&M, they look good. They put up big points.
Yeah, they did. Numbers, so I like the counterpoint. So you know what? Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I do think that there should be some pressure applied with the expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have some expectations there. I may not, you know,
Ten
it
and
may
two
not be.
in losses. So he goes 10-2, but wins the ACC title.
I think
You lose
even
to
if he goes
Florida
10
and
and
Florida
2, 10
State.
and 2 and don't win the ACC title, like 10 wins should be the expectation. You should get the 10.
Yeah, you get no, you got to get the 10. So you lose to Florida and Florida State.
Even if, yeah, if you end up losing to Florida State, you don't make it to the ACC title game. It's Louisville or Florida State, whoever's better. You know, like 10 wins is a jump from 7 or potentially 8, because then
Yeah,
you can go 10, you can go 10 and 2 and get into a big bowl game
yeah.
instead of playing
And
in
you can
the.
sell that to next year's class. I just won 10 games.
Yeah, won 10 games. We played in a major bowl, not a, you know, you won't be in the playoff, but you know, you'll be in a major bowl, and it looks good. It's just like, okay, now you can see the progress of the program. And I just want to, you know, like, maybe Mario, you know, he does develop. I want to see, because I'm just like, I'm believing in the rebuild. So if you giving me you giving me the blueprint, you saying I got this, I need this, I need this, and I need this. You got the money, you got the contract, you got the back end of the school, the administration. You got a 10-year contract, so you don't have that hanging over your head. You got the coaching staff in. Um, you got the players, the recruits in. And like, if I say I need all these things to be successful, because a lot of coaches are like, certain things are hindering me from being successful. It could be like the administration is going in a different direction. It could be like the coaching staff, or it could be like you're not getting certain players, or whatever it is. Like, certain things could be against you. When you have all the things in your favor, like, you know, it's like it's a Jimbo thing. Like, Jimbo, they gave Jimbo everything that he wanted. Number one recruiting class, the money, you got the stadium, you got the backing, and it's just like, all right, you got everything you said you needed. Like, you got to produce. If you don't produce, I mean, Miami ain't got that Texas A&M. You know, they're not going to buy nobody out like that. But I'm just like, if you're telling me a part of this rebuild process, I need this thing, this thing, this thing. Okay, step one, I need this, and this is the result we're going to get. Step two, okay, you give me this, and this is the result we're going to get. Like, I don't want this vague as, oh,
Bro, we
we're just gonna get better.
ACC.
I don't want that. Like, you giving me a process. I need to see, like, at this step in the process, this should be the result at this step.
I think
And
you're
give me
gonna
that
get,
we better shit.
bro. Listen. We play in the fucking ACC. The same shit Florida State is trying to lose. I'm just being realistic. We don't play in the Big Ten. We don't play in the SEC. I'm telling you, he's about, if not this year, next year. Like, put it this way, I'm almost willing to. I'm looking at that, and you just told me that schedule, bro. There go no less than 10-2. All I'm saying is you're supposed to do that with that talent. I think if you give him the quarterback, they'll fuck around here and damn near run this table. Okay, especially if Florida State gets subpar. So yeah, they get Cam Ward, but what I'm telling you is that that's what he did at Oregon. So you have to believe that he's gonna at least do that or a little bit better than Oregon. Now let's not now. He got 2 Pac-12 titles. So I'm like, listen, he is gonna fuck around here, and you got too much talent at this point. They need the quarterback. That's why I keep saying, like, nah, let pay the extra money, even if they get Will Howard, right? We can go back and, say I have to look at the tape and do the assessment. But I'm like, nah, you give this man, we're not talking about a real challenge like it's the SEC or the Big Ten or even the old Pac-12, right? No. We basically saying the ACC. Dog, this is, who do you believe is weaker at this point, the ACC or the Big 12? Because it still is the Power Four, right? If you look at the Big 12, like, oh, okay, cool. Which we talked about those teams. Kansas State. Matter of fact, if the Big 12 and the ACC combined, there you go. But that's a whole nother video. That being stated, bro, the SEC, we got to play Ball State, which I get is those are, and our non-conference is weak. If anything, we're suffering from strength of schedule. But I'm like, no, this team right here, with these 2 classes, he gets a quarterback. Dog, it's a 12-team playoff, right? Is it 8 or 12?
12.
We're going to the playoffs. No, we're going to the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. You got too much talent. Like I said, for me, and that's too much, right? The fan base is gonna say 3 and all that, but I'm just saying it realistically, because if you really think about it, Like you just got outcoached against Mac Brown, right? That's just what that was. Because we gonna look at all their classes, and I'm like the talent don't. So that's what I'm telling you though. The only read like if we play North Carolina again, then yeah, that could be your other loss because Mac Brown knows how to coach. He's up and down, but if they we don't know. They got a quarterback in the transfer portal too, so that's the only problem. It's he. But I'm like, you got so much talent. You get Cam Ward. What are we really talking about? You just got to be able to score. That's what it got down to. If UM was able to score every single game, it doesn't matter. We could have won the shootout with Louisville. I'm not even saying that that's what I want, right? I'm still talking about developing, but I keep going to the point where I'm like, listen, I'm not going to ask somebody to be good at something they're not, and that's not what their resume says. The fan base, they keep talk like we keep coming up with our own thoughts, and I'm like, no, this man is his resume. Everything that he's doing now, he did at Oregon, so he can get us there. We're not going to win titles, but we are going to win the ACC. We are going to be able to go to that playoffs. And then it just becomes the question of, oh, okay. And so, like I said, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, he would have been Mark Richt out there. He would have definitely, you know what I'm saying? And once again, it's all about styles of play too. So I just look at both of those things like, look, you know what? Danny Lanning was good. I feel like he's exceeded expectations. I feel like their fan base is very, very happy. But at the same time, Oregon still has to prove now on some suspect shit because they were supposed to flat out win that second game against Washington. They were supposed to flat out do it. You know what I'm saying? They had the talent. They had another team that didn't have a run. Washington decided they were going to run, and they decided they were going to. So I look at those things as just different coaching styles. And so I look at Mario like, look, like you said, somebody's going to get developed, but it's because of what I used to say. Some of these kids want to be developed. They're going to develop anyway. The ones that are not, we just got simply have so much talent that, especially in the ACC, there's a disparity. What other besides Florida State? Who else is in that top 10? Nobody. So I look at that like, look, the other coaches are going to have to coach now. You can't lose to Louisville this year. You can't. At the same time, though, I think Louisville, the quarterback they just got, is actually better. He's better. Because the quarterback they just had was that dude wasn't that good. He was streaky his whole time. So my point is, if we have any loss, it's because we got out coached. So then the fan base has to come and ask themselves, how do you feel about getting out? Like, how elite does your talent? Because we're basically saying we have a top 3 class. So we need Alabama and Georgia type talent to win the ACC. When we know that, listen, you really don't need that to win the ACC. You know what I'm saying? Because even Florida State's class last year, that was like 16. This is Florida State's highest ranked class. So if anything, they've been winning the ACC with lesser talent, not top 10 talent, and they went undefeated. So I just think you got to be realistic. I think our fan base is not realistic. I think they make excuses. I think sometimes they don't really taste reality. They like to believe what they believe and just say it's like that just because of like this imaginary Miami brand. And they don't like to look at the facts. That kind of remind you of a woman, right? That kind of remind you of some, you know what I'm saying, certain types of women that are delusional when they date athletes or rappers. They just think it's going to be one way when I'm like, no, it's not going to be that way. It's going to go what this resume says. So that's what I think. I think he has an easier time. I think the ACC, especially our schedule, super weak. You talked about that Colorado schedule. I say Colorado got a tougher schedule than us. Ain't no Utah on that schedule. Ain't no Kansas State on that schedule. Those teams play good with lesser talent, and they got good coaches. So, yeah. We were in the ACC. Definitely winning the ACC, and I mean, I ain't really trying to hit nothing else by it.
Well, shit, y'all let us know what your expectations are with this team, with Cam Ward, without Cam Ward, and does having a top 3 recruiting class sway what your expectations of this team should be coming into the next season. But as always, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so when we drop these videos, you can get notification, so you can get this real spill. And we're just gonna keep watching as this recruiting cycle unfolds, and leading up into the bowl game, and seeing what's gonna happen at our quarterback situation, because that do mean a lot. That means where this program is going. I do like the direction of the program as far as getting the recruits and getting that talent in. So I could say, if that was a box to check, that was one that's checked right there. So, like I said, I'm gonna give props when props are due. So, I'm giving them props on that, and I like the direction, and even being able to flip multiple recruits back to Miami or from other schools to Miami. So we'll see. But like I said, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, share, comment if you will. And until next time, it's your player partners from the bottom of the map.
From the bottom of the map.
We gone.
So